This is called no clipping. I don't know if anyone plays video games that much, but there's a cheat that you can do for most video games called no clipping, which means you can walk through walls. Anyway, that's all you need to know. No clipping. Last week I was a private detective and handcuffed all the corpses for an Easter egg. That made me feel important, but it was my birthday. A boy at school told me there's a way to access all levels: Ice Planet, abandoned Valentine Day warehouse, the president's car. Yesterday I was stuck in the haunted hospital and I'm supposed to collect something. I've looked under the children's pillows, spoken to my dying grandmother 10 times, but nothing. Sometimes I get tired and cheat. There is a way I can walk through walls and see each room: kitchen, fake bathroom, secret air vent. The object of the game is to get through the day without being seen, but the army saw me and I died 3 times. In another life, I built my dream house, fortress-like, filled with art and photos of my husband. I discussed muffins with my neighbour as our cooker burned everything and shaded my lover a red hue. Did we have a baby? I couldn't save it. Today I'm being shot at in the space prison. The pig policeman has good aim. I helped out a prostitute inmate by running over her deadbeat customer. She gave me the mansion's greenhouse key. When I inspect it closely, there is blood in the ridges. Knowing this has changed my ending. So I'm going to do the little conceptual poems. There's 3 very, very short things, so don't worry. For a while I was a press officer for the government, like a civil servant, not like a political side of things. And what I found interesting about, lots of weird interesting things about that job, but one thing was that Number 10 would send out an email to every press officer in the government every day, every morning, about the current issues that were happening that morning and the government line for it. So like if you were out with a minister and you were on a visit about opening a new hospital and they said, what about this murder that happened on the M25? You could brief your minister and be like, oh, well, the government says X, Y, and Z. But there were quite interesting things. They were just like topic, line. And I decided to, because I kept seeing these things, that I would take different clauses randomly from each of the statements and put them into a Word document and then write next to them bits of my own poetry from notebooks that I hadn't used and try and make poems out of them. So these are 3 very short examples. Xenophonics. To improve the life chances of millions of young people, we advise British citizens to avoid all non-essential travel. We're spending £370 million on building new flood defences. We're poking this heap by the shore. We are committed to reducing the size of all main political parties. Those residing or visiting the UK have a serious impact on UK society. Working hard or hardly working. There are now more people in work than ever before, and we are on the side of people who work hard, tackling crime. I can't think of anything worse than falling down repeatedly in public. The strike will hit hard-working people. The welfare and education systems will help people who want to work hard, and we are already investigating that school. Christian bailing. Bailing out the banks 5 years ago was a big ask. Our thoughts and prayers sunk in, and my liver managed to shrivel. This is a tragic case. Hundreds were gassed in the worst confirmed use. She looks so small in the car, empty of people. It is up to individual public bodies. Those are, I've published all, there's about something stupid like 40 of those on my website, which I think is available on the Facebook thing. So if you like them, you can read them. The next poem I wrote after, do you remember when that Roscoe piece was defaced? Like someone like graffitied on it?
Yeah. And
everyone was freaking out and I was just like, guys, it's not that big a deal, it's totally fine. I just thought, that's an artistic statement. Anyway, but so I wrote this poem after that called Everything is Fine, Nothing is Ruined. I heard about tonight from the advert who scorched into my front garden. Just today I wrote my thoughts on that on the primary school entrance sign. I'm more perceptive when outraged or afraid, when a fight breaks out on the way to work, a gun being fired into the sun, sudden blood, a cockroach crawling from my sleeve. I could go on, but I have written these and other thoughts on a priceless masterpiece. The world now knows, and the streets are filled with people with words scored into their forearms. Do come in. So I said that I grew up in Essex. Don't worry, guys, the people have just arrived. There's been more interesting things than that. But I don't know if anyone else had this, but where I grew up, there was always like videotape or cassette tape in trees. And I was like, and I remembered this the other day, and I was like, why? I wonder why that happened. And when you Google videotape in trees, the first result that comes up is this website called Update on Occult Activities. And it's this person, this really sort of paranoid person who just thinks that like everything that is happening is like the sort of byproduct of some occult group that are out to get them. And it was a really interesting but quite distressing read. And so I wrote a poem about that. And the title is a quote from the website, which is written in red. And it says, so the title is, "What the darkness is doing is always the secondary issue." New things in the church trees, this time videotape. They knocked a bird's nest out. It's bad, definitely demon. Afternoon and it's hot, very hot. Dangerous road bends near my house and a bag is tied to a bush. Sudden breeze, then it's in the air. It waved over to me, then over traffic. On one side the bag said, big savings, further reductions on the other. My dog is a nice dog, nice face. I don't have much to say to him. I get home and he wasn't there. A hole in the door, dirty boy. Open the paper, the same children with the pains, the car's on fire, and then the adverts are there again, recruiting the curious for paranormal research. Went walking. I saw chocolate, empty box of chocolate. It said, black magic. I thought of the past, of the plastic coiled snakes outside the farmhouse. I used to sing there. We had moved to this place. I thought, yes, safe, but no, the same again. The broken glass and the dirt, the leaves with cut-out smiles. It's almost winter now, so it's better. It's better and it's just me. Sometimes the dog and the darkness and the messages under rocks. Every so often the woodlice forming words. The slow voices always. So you've got 2 more to go. Has anyone seen Akira?
Yes.
So I saw that like about a year ago the first time, and like the end scene just like horrified me so much. Which basically, if you haven't seen Akira, it's the cut and thrust of it is that this boy who has really powerful psychokinetic powers starts to sort of evolve and mutate into this huge thing, and it's a very painful thing to watch. And I was very moved by it, sort of almost physically sick at one point. So that sort of inspired this, and as well as like a Henry Moore sculpture. And the title of this comes from. Oh, guys. So I'll just get on and read it. This is called Monument Valley. You can come up if you want. I'm just going to carry on reading.
It's okay.
That's how popular poetry is. I'm just going to carry on. Monument Valley. Then she looked at me with a square head. I asked, "Hey, are you okay?" Her face looked like the corner of an important building. She might have said, "No, it's fine," or "I'm changed forever," but words did not come from those chapped concrete lips. Her skin was blue-grey, a rich pearl sediment. We held each other. She had the feeling of being rained on. She outgrew my reach, became monumental, a wide darkness that I walked through. What were her words stretched to bird calls. They made nests in her extremities. I wandered for months, and every day was something new. Glass leaves, otters in an atrium where it rains constantly, thin fires. Once I found a wall of moss sweating in the dark and slept there. I woke up different, my hair falling out, my body broken like a volcano. The golden mornings came with the birds asking their questions, seeming to survive with no answers. And this is my last poem. A friend of mine sent me a link to this what can only be described as like really depressed sort of college chef called Steve Weber, and he's kind of like this. He's this cook that like has a couple of things on YouTube where I say he's a cook. Mainly what he does is he gets jars of things, puts them in a bowl, and then puts it in the microwave, and then takes it out. But he kind of, but he does this in a really sort of misanthropic way, in which he's almost like doing it like with a gun held to his head, and he keeps like stumbling over his words. He's very sweet, really, but like he's kind of a strange guy. And I started to think like where he got to in his life and why he was doing this. But he always starts his programs with the same phrase, and he calls his fans Wildcats, and he always starts with "Hey Wildcats." So the poem's called "Hey Wildcats," and thank you for listening. Hey Wildcats. Hey Wildcats, welcome to the final show. Well, today we're going to be cooking up a storm, but you don't have to hide from the rain, my poor ferocious kitties. Come join me in the downpour, because this meal is simple. Nachos, all jagged, pointy. Ouch, you may think, looking at this graveyard of dinosaur skeletons. But boy howdy, they are the business. We have all the components, cheese from, a cow I suppose, and the chips which I first had at a recent funeral, the chili, and well, this will set you back about $6, but you know, when you look at it, that would be $1, maybe $2 a person, which isn't bad, especially in my case, when these people are all the ghosts I have in my heart. This dish moves them into my stomach. At home, I have this pile of money. Anyway, while that is cooking in the microwave I found behind the studio, let me tell you a story about nachos. My dad, well, Wildcats, he was a serious man, always thought better of me, but I seemed to have a talent for disappointing him. The only trophy I got for that were these scars, when one night we had nachos and ping! Well, that was quick, fans? Mix these together, but be careful, these jars are thick and can scald even the hardiest of hides. You know, Wildcats, the microwave is not too dissimilar to the human heart, which most of us have by our breast pocket. It can deal with more or less anything, except maybe metal or light bulbs. But let anyone tell you otherwise, and they're a fool. You can show them the meals that we have made together over the years, and they will be stunned, impressed even, that you can create something already made for you, such beauty for under $6.